Welcome to the How to Become a Successful Online Fitness Coach series. I'm going to teach you exactly how to set up and start your online fitness business. But why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Brian Mark and I've been a business coach for the last 6 years. And before I started business coaching, I actually ran my own online fitness coaching company from 2013 to 2018. In that 5-year time span, I worked with over 1,000 online fitness coaching clients and I had over 8 trainers working underneath me at Aesthetic Nation. During that time frame, over the course of the few years, I realized that I was not as passionate about teaching people how much broccoli to eat or what their nutrition goal should be anymore. After 5 years, my passion transitioned to the business side of things where I was mentoring the trainers. So in 2018, I made a major decision to completely fold my online fitness business and go all in on PT domination. And over the last 6 years, we've worked with over 7,500 online fitness coaches. Out of those online fitness coaches, 350 of them have hit $10,000 a month and 15 of them have hit $100,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm here to tell you that I have the blueprint for success when it comes to online fitness, and there's no other mentor in the space that has the amount of years that I have in the game or the amount of credibility. That being said, this video is about you, so let's dive in. First things first, choosing your niche. I'm sure you've heard this quote before, you need to have an avatar. What does this actually mean? A niche is basically a target person that you go after with your content, with your program, and with your messaging. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Brian, I'm smart, talented, and good looking. I can work with everybody. And I agree, you can work with everybody, but the problem is, because there's so many online coaches on the internet, if you try to work with everybody, you end up competing with the big dogs, like Layne Norton, Sebastian Oreb, people that have been in the game for 15 plus years. You can't just come in and say, I'm a generalist, I help everybody, because now you're competing against everybody that's been in the space forever. So the reason it's important to have a niche, as in a target demographic that you go after with your profile, with your content, with your messaging, with your program, is because in a very short period of time, you can become an expert to this group of people. In a very short time, you can become an expert in this arena. And now you're not competing with Layne Norton because what you're doing is you're offering something completely different. Now, if you don't want to pick a niche and you're like, that's not true, Brian, I want to work with everybody. I completely understand, but you're going to have a really hard time growing on social media. You're going to have a really hard time signing clients, and you're going to blend in with the sea of everybody else on social media that puts out basic content that speaks to no one. But here's the thing. When you decide that you're going to niche down and you start creating content for a specific demographic, when one of your videos goes viral on social media, and then people come from that video to your page and they see that every single video on that page is valuable for them, they're going to follow you. They're going to start listening to you. They're going to start consuming your content. They're going to be interested in working with you. So the ultimate goal is to choose a niche for our online fitness business so that we can become the expert in a small arena instead of competing with the big dogs. Now let's talk about some popular niches as an example so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Number 1, busy moms. I have a few clients that are successfully targeting busy moms with their social media content, and as a result of all of their content being dialed into that avatar, they may have a smaller following, but their income is substantial. An example of this is my client, Clayton Snyder. He only works with busy moms. All of his content speaks to busy moms. He has 24.6 thousand followers, but he's making over $70,000 a month. Pretty impressive. And it's because he chose a niche. Now, Clayton actually started his Instagram with 0 posts when he first started with me 2 years ago. And because we chose a niche from day one and we honed in on it, those 24,000 people that are following him are busy moms. Another example would be women 35 plus. Another example would be men 40 plus. One of my clients, Nick Conway, that fit over 40 men, only speaks to men that are over 40 in his fitness content. Now, Nick had actually worked with a previous business coach for 6 months, paid him $10,000 and didn't make a single dollar, not one. The first thing I got him to do when he signed up with me is choose a niche. He started putting out content targeting men over 40. Within 1 week, he signed 2 clients. Now Nick is making anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and he's only been with me for 5 months. Another example of a niche is girls that want to build an hourglass figure. One of my clients, Heather Walk, is perfect for this demographic. She has the body that women want, and so she targets women that want to build an hourglass figure, and all of her content speaks to building better lats, a bigger booty, tighter waist, and as a result, all the people that follow her want to get an hourglass body. Heather's making $50,000 a month. When you choose a niche, you can become a specialist in a small arena in a very short period of time. Many people get impatient when they're choosing a niche because when their content doesn't hit right away, they're like, but I'm alienating everybody in my audience. And listen, I get it. And so I'm gonna give you the 3 layers of finding a niche in this video so that you can start creating high value content and you can find the people that you're supposed to work with. Layer number 1 of finding your niche. Speak to your old self. Your past pain points, your past problems, your past frustrations, the things you used to believe about fitness, the things that you struggled with, how much weight you had to lose, why you got into fitness in the first place, what you struggled with confidence-wise. All of these stories about your own journey you are emotionally connected to. As a result of being emotionally connected to your own story, when you start sharing some of the stuff that you went through in your own fitness journey, it's gonna create emotional resonance in the audience because it's real. People are gonna start to reach out to you saying that your story inspired them. People are gonna start to reach out to you saying this content speaks to them. And it's so easy to create content for your past self because you know you best. And listen, if you've gone through a story that you don't think people will be able to relate to, I'm gonna open up about my own story. So I struggled with the drug addiction back in 2012. And I was doing hard drugs for an extended period of time, 6 months straight. Got to a point where I was doing it every single day for 72 hours. And then I'd go to sleep for 24 hours, I'd wake up, I'd do it all again. And I started telling the story on social media, and even people that weren't addicts ended up relating to me because they related to the adversity that I went through. And so by me sharing my story and what I went through in terms of my addiction, it ended up creating emotional connection in my audience because people could see that I wasn't just this fit dude. People could see that I was a real person. And as a result of me being vulnerable, they started to emotionally connect to my story, and that brought in my first few clients. So layer number one is you speak to your old self with your content, your past pains, problems, frustrations, goals, etc. This is gonna create resonance in your audience, which gets us to layer two. Your avatar chooses you. As you start to create content, you start speaking to your old self, what ends up happening is you start attracting a certain demographic. Here's what you need to do is you need to pay attention. You're sharing your story, you're sharing what you used to struggle with, you're sharing some hacks to keep people motivated, you're sharing what you do right now for your nutrition, you're documenting all of your own story, and then you're gonna attract a certain type of person. Pay attention to who's coming in. You might think that you wanna work with men to help them lose body fat, but then you're noticing that your DMs are flooded with women that wanna lose weight. Sometimes you choose an avatar, most of the times they choose you. And so layer number two is really identifying like who's coming into my audience, who's reaching out to work with me. Not only that, but if you've been an in-person trainer before, I want you to pay attention to your past roster. Was it men? Was it women? What was the majority? Now let's say it was men and women. And you're like, Brian, I work with both. That isn't helpful. Okay, who were your best clients? Like who were the clients that were showing up? Who were the clients that were all in? Who were the clients that were super committed? Let's target those people. So layer number one is you speak to your old self. Layer number two, your avatar chooses you. These two layers by themselves will get you your first 5 to 10 clients. Commit to sharing your own story, commit to documenting your fitness journey, and sharing with people who you are. This will bring in your first round of clients, which leads us to layer three. Once you've got the data from speaking to your old self, and you're paying attention to who's coming in, your avatar is choosing you. Layer number three is you take all the data that you've collected from putting out your story and all the people coming in, and you make a decision on who your niche is gonna be. Now, layer number three might not come until 3 months in, 4 months in, 5 months in. So you can start by saying, I help men and women burn body fat and gain lean muscle. That's the starting point. You can create content that helps men and women burn body fat and build lean muscle. That will attract a certain type of person. Then you're gonna pay attention to the people that are coming into your audience, the people that are in your DMs, and you're gonna double down on whatever avatar is most apparent. If you're finding a lot of lawyers in your DMs asking for fitness advice, well then you target lawyers. If you're finding a lot of nurses in your DMs asking for fitness advice, well that's hone in on nurses. If you're finding a lot of moms in your DMs asking for advice, let's hone in on moms. And then once we have that demographic, once we choose that demographic, then we can start doing customer research. So moms over 35, what do they struggle with? What are their goals? What are their common fears? What are their frustrations? What are the reasons they can't take actions? What are their aspirations? What are their primary motivating factors? What are some of the things they believe? Following this process before you decide your niche will allow you to actually choose the right person. Most people, what they do is they just choose somebody from day one. I'm just gonna find my niche from day one. And then they end up doing all this research, finding all this stuff about this person, then they realize they're not even supposed to be speaking to that person. So it starts with you telling your story, then you attract clients. Once you attract clients, you pay attention to who's coming in and you double down on that specific avatar. And that is how you find your niche. So here's your homework. After this video, I want you to sit down and I want you to write about your past self. Here are the bullet points. Write about everything you used to struggle with in your fitness journey. Write about some common myths that you used to believe. Write about your biggest accomplishment in your fitness journey. Write about why you got started in the first place. Write about how you found information when you were looking up your fitness journey. Write up some of the biggest obstacles that you faced when you got started. Write about some of the setbacks that you had and some of the times that you fell off track. Write about the goals that you first had when you started your fitness journey. Are they still the same? Write about some adversity that you've had in your life personally that led you to want to be more healthy. Maybe there's somebody in your family that led you to be more healthy. Maybe there's somebody in your family that motivated you to become more healthy. Write down these bullet points and you will have your first pieces of content. Start putting it out, pay attention to who comes in, and after a period of 1, 2, or 3 months, as you have enough data, choose a specific avatar and hone in on it. I'm gonna teach you the single most important aspect to attracting online fitness coaching clients, especially when you first get started. This is something that a lot of online trainers neglect, and as a result, they never sign the clients, they never make the money, and they never grow their coaching business. And that is setting up your social media profile to be a magnet for your ideal client. Now, I'm gonna give you an example, okay? Let's say that you walked into a job interview and you were dressed like a bum, your hair was a mess, and you didn't brush your teeth. You nasty. We would never do that because we would always wanna set ourselves up for the best chance of success. Plus, you would walk into that job interview and immediately the guy would look at you like you're a psychopath. Why? Because first impressions matter. There's a famous quote that says you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And so when you have a video that performs well in your social media profile, what will end up happening is somebody will come to your page. Now, when they come to your page, essentially what they're gonna see is your business card. They're gonna see your profile picture, they're gonna see your bio, they're gonna see your pinned posts, and they're gonna make a decision on whether or not to follow you, hire you, or reach out, or to completely scroll away. What we wanna do is we wanna set up our social media profile so that when our ideal client finds it, they know that this is the social media profile that they've been looking for. Now, what does a bad social media profile look like? A bad social media profile has a photo of you as the profile picture with 2 other people. A bad social media profile has a photo of you in a dark room in a basement on your iPhone 3. A bad social media profile is essentially any profile that does not clearly showcase you at your very best. Now, in terms of your bio, if your bio isn't optimized to speak to the person that you're trying to reach, or it doesn't at least say that you're a fitness coach, then how are you expecting people to want to reach out and work with you? How are you expecting them to follow you or trust you? If you don't have photos on your page of clients that are getting amazing results, how can you expect people to trust that you're going to be able to help them get results? Essentially, you have a bad profile picture, you don't have a niche, you're not verified, you're not posting social proof, which gives people no reason to follow you because you blend in with the sea of everybody else. With that being said, let me give you the 7 steps to set up your Instagram profile to be a money-making machine. Step number 1, the profile photo. There's 2 options for fitness coaches for profile photos. Option number 1 is a clear photo of you smiling. Just like that. The reason this works really well, especially if you work with women, is because it makes you seem super approachable. Most of my best clients that have amazing social media profiles, especially the ones that work with women, have a clear headshot of them smiling. Now, another reason this is important is when you're sending a DM to a prospect, what's gonna pop up is that little profile photo. You wanna make sure that that profile photo says something good about you. Now, a second option for your profile photo would be a photo of you looking your very best. This could be a gym photo, this could be a selfie, this could be anything where you show how good your physique looks. I see a lot of men and women with successful profile photos that look like this, especially if you have the body that your avatar wants. Another hack for your profile photo to make you stand out on Instagram is to remove the background. Go to remove.bg, upload your profile photo, and remove the background. Then you can add a color to the background by going to your Instagram stories, choosing a color, and then adding the photo, saving that, and uploading that as your profile photo. Step number 2 is an optimized username. Now, with your username, you always wanna put your first and last name, and we'll talk about why in step 7. But then you also can have keywords related for your niche. The reason that this is important is that Instagram operates as a search engine. And so when somebody's searching fat loss coach for men, you want your name to pop up. You at least want to be in the conversation. And so whatever it is that your niche is, whether that's men, busy moms, fathers, parents, fat loss, put that as your optimized username. So mine says Brian Ron Mark, business coach for online trainers. If somebody's looking for a business coach for online trainers, my name is gonna be in the conversation. Third is an I help optimized bio. This should be the first line in your bio because when somebody comes to your profile, the first thing that you want them to read is that this profile is for them. I help busy moms lose 10 pounds or more without restrictive dieting. Now, if I'm a busy mom that needs to lose weight, I'm gonna follow you because you've made it clear that your profile is for me. A simple formula that you can follow for your I help statement: I help X avatar get X result without something they don't wanna sacrifice. Or I help X avatar get X result with tangible benefit. So I'll give you 2 examples. I help busy moms lose 10 pounds or more without giving up their favorite foods. Another example is I help busy moms lose 10 pounds or more with only 3 workouts a week. Do this and instantly your profile will stand out on social media. Fourth is a keyword to DM you. Now, the reason this is important is because some people are lazy. So even though we're gonna have an opportunity for people to apply in our bio, some people are not gonna wanna fill out the application. They're just gonna wanna shoot you a message. Having a keyword to DM you in your bio will give you an easy 3 to 5 extra leads per week with you doing absolutely nothing. Now, the keyword that you wanna choose to get people to DM is one that your avatar wants. An example is fat loss, booty, 6-pack. Mine is 10K in my bio. It says DM me 10K for more info because personal trainers that want to start and scale their online fitness business want to get to $10,000 a month. Putting a keyword to DM you in your bio will instantly give you more leads on your social media. And now every time somebody comes to your profile, you're doing a call to action. Fifth is the application link. Now, your link in your bio should be a type form application link that should have 7 questions. First and last name, phone number, Instagram handle, what's your biggest struggle right now? What's your biggest goal right now? If you like what you hear on the call and I present you some coaching options, what's your budget for a fitness coach right now? I have the money and I'm willing to invest. I have the money, but my budget is tight. I don't really have the finances right now, or I'm just looking for some free advice. Last question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to achieving your goals? This should be the only link that you put in your bio. The only one. Not a link tree, not a solo.to, not any of the other dumb shit that people are putting in their bio, because anything else that you put in your bio will decrease your conversions. When somebody comes to your profile and they want to work with you, you want to make it easy for them to reach out. The only link that you have on your profile is an application link. That's it. Now, 6th are the pinned posts on your Instagram. You should have 3 pinned posts. Pinned post number 1 should be your best client transformation. If you don't have a lot of clients right now, don't worry, just post your transformation of before and after of when you started your fitness journey to where you're at right now. Pinned post number 2 should be something about you and your story. The reason for this is when people come to your page, you want to make it very clear who you are, what you're about, what your mission is, and why you became an online fitness coach. The 3rd pinned post should be an offer that you currently have. You can talk about your training, nutrition, and accountability program and how you help people through online coaching. This should be a detailed description of the service that you offer without the price point involved. You want to save the price point for the sales call. And the 7th part of setting up a proper social media profile is to get verified. I know, it's $14.99 a month, but that little blue check mark makes all the difference between you looking credible and you looking not. The truth is there's a lot of scammers online with fake profiles that are doing weird shit. And so you want to make sure that you're not one of those people, and you want to make sure that you are standing up from the crowd because you are a verified account. It makes a difference. When I get a DM from a verified account versus a non-verified account, I pay attention versus not paying attention. And your prospects will be the exact same. So spend the $14.99 to get your account verified so that you look more credible and you look more legit. So again, we're just gonna quickly recap. A good profile photo, an optimized username, an I help optimize bio, a keyword to DM you, your link to your application, the 3 pinned posts on your Instagram, and paying for verification. I wanna show you a good example of this, which is my client Clayton Snyder. So now that we've finished this lesson, you should have a good understanding of what a good social media profile looks like and a bad social media profile looks like. You also have very clear steps on exactly how to set up your social media profile. First things first, most of you dorks are sending out PDF workout programs to your clients, and that's the wrong way to do business. Why would somebody pay you $1,000 for a 16-week program when they could literally go to ChatGPT for the information that you're providing in a PDF? This isn't 1955 anymore. PDFs are no longer valid. You need to be using the latest apps so you can deliver the highest level service possible so that when people pay you a premium price, they feel like they're getting a premium service. The first one is Typeform. Now you're gonna use your Typeform to collect client applications for your online coaching program. If you missed what questions to put in your Typeform, check out this video here. Now the purpose of this Typeform is this is going to live in your bio to capture leads when they come to your page and they're interested in your offer. That's purpose number 1. Purpose number 2 for Typeform is when we run a free 14-day challenge to collect leads and get testimonials, we will use the Typeform to collect those leads as well. The reason we collect those Typeforms is not only does it give us data for the 14-day challenge, but it also gives us leads to follow up with in the future. The next app that you are going to use is Google Forms. Now, Google Forms is going to be used for all of your weekly check-ins. These are going to be sent out every week to your clients to collect data on how their progress is coming. You'll send them a check-in form, they'll send you a response, and then to respond to their check-in, you're going to send them a video. I'd recommend using Loom. We'll talk about that in a second. To set Google Forms up, open up your Gmail, tap the drop-down menu, and select Forms. Create a blank form and simply add the questions one by one. You can choose whether or not you want a multiple choice answer, a short answer, a long answer, etc. Here are some of the key questions that you're gonna want on your weekly check-ins that you send to your clients. Name, date, is there anything you want to bring up right away? What's a win from this past week? Last week's weight, this week and last week waist measurements. Females, is it that time of the month for you? Is there anything else that you're struggling with? Is there anything that I can do as your coach to serve you better? Now, when you send these out to your clients and they give you a response, you're going to use loom.com to create a screen recording reading over their check-in response. As you're reading over their check-in response, you're gonna go over a main win that they had. You're gonna talk about their biggest struggle, and you're gonna give them some homework for the week. I'd recommend when you're coaching your clients, giving them one piece of homework per week. Any more than that, they're gonna get overwhelmed and they're not gonna implement. Now, obviously, you're gonna need a way for your clients to pay you. So I'd recommend setting up a PayPal account as well as a Stripe account. The reason I'd recommend both of those things is sometimes when you send somebody a Stripe link, it doesn't work. So you wanna have PayPal as a background. Both of these services make it extremely easy for you to set up single-time invoices or recurring monthly payments. That way you don't have to track clients down for Venmo payments or e-transfers if you're in Canada. Next, we have Calendly. Calendly is the app that you are going to use to book all of your sales calls. The best part about Calendly is it actually syncs to people's time zones. So let's say you set your availability in Calendly from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in PST, and you send the calendar to somebody that's in Mountain Standard Time, it's gonna show 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. on their time. So the best part is when you send a calendar, it automatically syncs to their time zone and it shows availability in the time zone that they are. And not only that, when they book in for a call, it's gonna send them an email reminder automatically, it's gonna send them a calendar invite, and it also sends you a calendar invite. So it makes it really hard to actually miss the meeting. Now next, you're gonna need some sort of platform to run your workouts on. In my opinion, the best one on the market right now is Trainerize. I'm not personally affiliated with them, and honestly, their customer service isn't the best. However, the app is really good. They've done a really great job developing their platform. In Trainerize, the best part is that you don't have to upload your own workouts or your own videos. They have a library of videos for you to choose from. This is what I'd recommend doing to get started. Like obviously at some point when you have 30, 40 clients, you can go in and film a bunch of workout videos, but the worst mistake that you can make is thinking like, oh, I need to film all my videos first before I get any clients, which is basically an excuse to procrastinate and never take any action. Whereas I would rather you build a program in Trainerize, sell the program in Trainerize, sell 10 programs in Trainerize, make $5,000, then say, okay, cool, maybe I wanna build something out that's actually filmed by me for my clients. But first, sell, then build. Not only is Trainerize really easy to use for you, it's also really easy to use for the clients. It has habit trackers, tracks their workouts, sends them a notification if they miss a workout, and sends you a notification. It has in-app messaging, you can send voice notes and videos. It is a really useful tool, and I'd highly recommend that you use it. And the best part is if you have a little bit of extra capital to invest, you can actually brand it as your own app, so that when your client downloads it from the app store, they're not downloading Trainerize, they're downloading Juicy Bodies Fit. Now last thing, you're gonna need a website to deliver your meal plans from. There's two different options. Option number one, if you're a macro freak like me, you can use MyFitnessPal. What I used to do is I would build all the meal plans in MyFitnessPal, then I would send them to my clients with the macros and the recipe breakdowns. And the best part about that is MyFitnessPal actually links to Trainerize, which means that as your clients are tracking their workouts and their meals, you'll be able to see all of it. So if homeboy's eating McDonald's and he's logging in as MyFitnessPal, you can be like, yo motherfucker, I see your food. Option number two is meal plans. Now if you're gonna do meal plans, I'd recommend Trainerize. Trainerize actually has an in-house app that's built in to do nutrition, and it's pretty decent. It's developed pretty nicely over the years. I used to recommend Evolution Nutrition, which still is a good option, but because Trainerize actually has it built into the app, I think it's more user-friendly for the customer because then they only have to download one app instead of two. Now with these 7 websites, you are set up to deliver an absolutely amazing offer to your online coaching clients. So let's quickly recap. Typeform for your coaching applications, Google Forms for weekly check-ins, Looms to respond to their check-ins, PayPal and Stripe for payments, Calendly for booking your sales calls, Trainerize for creating workout programs, and Evolution Nutrition / MyFitnessPal / Trainerize for your meal plans. Now that you have everything to set up your offer, let's talk about what your offer actually looks like. When you first get started, you're gonna be selling a 12-week program for $999 or $350 per month. The way that this 12-week program is gonna be structured is training, nutrition, and accountability. Let's break down each one. We'll start with training. You're gonna sell 4-week training blocks to your clients, and you're gonna let them know that every 4 weeks, you're going to update their workout program. Then for nutrition, you're gonna sell weekly meal plans or macro updates. I'd recommend starting everybody out on meal plans because most people don't have the intelligence to do macros on their own. If they did, they wouldn't need a coach. So give them meal plans, and then throughout their program, you wanna slowly teach the macros. Update it every week based on what they need for their body. And lastly, for the accountability, there's 3 forms of accountability. Number 1 is the daily messaging on Trainerize, just to check in and make sure they're doing their workouts. Number 2 is the weekly check-ins where you're gonna send them a form and they have to respond. And number 3 is your community. Now you wanna build your community with either Facebook or within the Trainerize app itself. That way, when people sign up to your coaching program, they get to meet all of your other clients and they get to interact with each other. Now, what I want you to do is go download and play around with all of these apps. We're gonna cover some of the best practices for posting on social media so you can get inbound leads. First things first, I need to tell you, if you've never posted on social media before, do not expect to get rich quick. This is gonna be a little bit of a long game. Think about the first time that you went to the gym. You weren't fucking juicy afterwards, I'm sorry. It took you a couple months of going to the gym for you to notice some gains. It's gonna be the same thing with social media, but don't get discouraged because a lot of you guys will post on social media, you'll get 1,000 views and you'll be like, no one loves me, I don't understand why. But in reality, if you were to speak to a room that had 1,000 humans in it, 1,000 humans, that would be a massive audience. So even though you on social media are like, I'm not getting the views that I feel like I deserve, in reality, you're getting significantly more views than you would ever get if you were to go door-to-door sales knocking to try to sell your service in person. You realize how long it would take you to shake 1,000 people's hands? Think about that for a second. Now let's jump right in. Now the first thing that I recommend is that you build these two platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Why? Because yes, TikTok is relevant, but Facebook and Instagram are the easiest platforms to build in my opinion. Also, Facebook and Instagram is where people make buying decisions. Now I've coached over 8,000 clients and 95% of them get the majority of their clients from Facebook and Instagram. Even the people that are viral on TikTok end up having to send their leads from TikTok to Instagram because TikTok is not a platform where people make buying decisions on. Now, when it comes to people making a purchase off of you, AKA sending you $1,000 over the internet, they're not gonna do that unless they know you, like you, and trust you. With our Instagram marketing strategy, we're gonna build our strategy around the know, like, and trust factor, and we're gonna post 3 types of content. Connection content so that they get to know you, value content so they like you because you're solving their problems, and proof content to show that they can actually trust you. But what do these pieces of content actually look like and why are they important? Let me break it down. Proof content is pretty self-explanatory. You need to demonstrate that you have the expertise that you quote unquote say that you have. There's a lot of fake experts on the internet. I'm sure that you guys have been DM'd by 500 different business coaches. I might have been one of them. And you don't know who's real and who's not. Posting social proof is the easiest way to distinguish yourself as an expert and to separate yourself from the pack. Now, if you're first getting started, I understand. I don't have any proof. I don't have any clients. I get it. The best way that you can collect proof is 2 ways. Number 1, running a free 14-day challenge. Number 2, documenting your own story. You didn't come out of the womb lifting dumbbells, okay? You had to start somewhere. So grab a photo of you when you first got started, and then a photo of you now, and then start posting that once a week. When people can see that you went through your own transformation, they will trust that you have the solution to their problem. Now, if you're already an experienced trainer and you're working with clients in person, ask them for a testimonial. They might not be willing to share their photos online, but you can ask them for a video testimonial the next time you see them. Like, hey, would you mind if I got a testimonial from you talking about, your biggest hesitations working with me, the results that we've gotten together, and whether or not you'd recommend me as a coach? I'd appreciate that. Then you can use those testimonials, you can post them on your social media to attract more clients. Now, if you're an online coach that is already working with clients and you're not posting proof, you're fucking up. You need to collect photos. And I know what you're thinking, but not everyone wants me to share their photos, blah, blah, blah. It's all about how you position it to them, right? So if you go to your client and you're like, hey, can I post naked selfies of you online? Of course they're gonna say no. But if you go to your client and you're like, hey, listen, Nick, your story is extremely inspiring, and I feel like there's a lot of men out there that could use your story to start their own transformation. Would you mind if I shared your story on my social media so that I can inspire more men to start their fitness journey like you started yours? People are gonna say yes to that. Now, testimonials are extremely important because when you get a testimonial from a client, it's not you saying your program is great, even though you probably think it is. It's somebody else saying that your program is great. And the way that human beings work is we follow social behavior. So if somebody else has already made a buying decision, it makes it easy for the next prospect to make a buying decision because they know that somebody else has already made a purchase. The next, we have value content. In the first video, I talked about choosing your niche. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch this. But in value content, what you wanna do is you wanna speak to your niche and you wanna give them specific solutions to their problem. Here's how I like to think about value content. I create a very specific solution to a narrowly defined problem. So instead of being like, this is how you lose 20 pounds in the next 16 weeks and giving them the training plan, the nutrition plan, and the accountability, you're saying, stop thinking that coffee counts as breakfast and instead steal my low carb protein pancake recipe. Then give them the recipe, and that is value. Now, my definition of value is this. Write this down. It's not valuable unless somebody could get results without hiring me. So your social media should be sprinkled with these deep videos, deep posts about specific solutions to narrowly defined problems. Basically, what you wanna do is you wanna give people the keys to the castle, but the castle has 1,000 doors. You have 1,000 keys, and you just give them a key to a specific door, and they get the key and they're like, oh shit, this just opened the door, but there's also 999 other doors, and they're super confused and they don't know how to open the rest of the castle. And then the next post that you make, you give them another key and they're like, oh my God, I just opened that door too. And then over time, they're gonna realize that when they follow your content, they get amazing results, and then they're gonna start to think like, if their free content's this good, what would their paid program look like? Now again, this ain't a get rich quick scheme, homie. So if you're trying to get rich quick, go somewhere else. And again, there's so many of you guys that have this like 9-to-5 mindset. Like, I'm gonna work 8 hours for somebody else all day, every day for $20 an hour. But when it comes to working on my own business, I'm not willing to work for free for a certain period of time so I can get to $10,000 a month. If that's you, if that's your work ethic, if that's your mindset, like, you'll never be successful online. If you're hoping to press a button and make money automatically from your online coaching business, you're living in a fucking pipe dream, okay? It doesn't exist. And business coaches will sell you that dream, and then you'll buy their program, and then they'll promise you automations, and then you'll get in, you'll pay them $15,000. You'll make jack shit because that is not a reality that exists today. It doesn't happen. Stop looking for it, and instead, you need to become the trusted resource. You need to become the person that people come to because they know that your page is so valuable, and every time they watch your videos, they feel better, they're starting to take action so they look better, they're more confident, and then they're gonna reach out to you because you're the solution to their problem. Lastly, we have connection content. Now with connection content, this is what's gonna separate you from every other online coach on the internet. Every online coach on the internet is posting 5 mistakes you're making trying to grow your build. You're like, steal my juicy arm workout. I get it, you're cool, you're jacked. But everybody else is doing that. What's gonna separate you from other people is your story. You telling your story of how you got to where you are, what your wife is like, what your kids are like, what your family life is like, what inspired you to get into fitness, who motivates you, who are your mentors, what are you learning right now? Like really give people an insight into your life. And this is content where you're just sharing your story. This is why I love posting on social media, because posting on social media for me isn't just about attracting clients. It's also about telling people who I am and what I'm doing with my life right now. This causes people to get to know me, and because they get to know me, they like all the other content that I'm putting out a little bit more because they can see who I actually am as a person. Connection content, telling your story, being vulnerable, being open, and being honest will separate you from every other online coach on the internet. An example for me is my drug addiction. Now, I struggled with the drug addiction when I was 21 years old, and I talk about that openly on my social media. The reason I talk about that openly is even though I'm really successful now, it's good for people to see that I wasn't always like this and that I had to make some hard decisions to get to where I am today. This story inspires people to dig deeper into their own goals, own dreams, own aspirations, and to make some own hard decisions in their life so that they can become the best versions of themselves. Now, here's the posting schedule you can use if you're just getting started and you want to grow on social media. 5 times a week, post on your Instagram feed. This can be a reel or a photo post. I recommend that 80% of your posts be reels, 20% be photo posts. If you're gonna post photos, I'd recommend doing before and afters. On your Instagram stories, you wanna be active every day. Yes, every day, 7 days a week. You can take people on an adventure throughout your day. You can show social proof. You can document your day and show you living the fitness lifestyle and leading by example. For live streams, I'd recommend doing 3 a week. And I know 3 a week seems like a big daunting task, especially if you got a low following and only 1 or 2 people are showing up. But this consistency over time will compound, and eventually, instead of 1 or 2 people showing up, you'll get 10 to 15 people showing up. Your call to actions are gonna do 2 per week, 1 on Monday and 1 on Thursday. A call to action is a direct thing where you ask clients to reach out and work with you. There's 2 different types of call to actions. There's hard call to actions and soft call to actions. A hard call to action is where you're directly asking for a client saying something like, I'm looking for 5 men that wanna lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days. If that's you, DM me 6-pack. That's on Monday. On Thursday, you're gonna post something like, I just created a new recipe. It's called low carb chocolate brownies. If you want it, DM me recipe and I'll send it to you. For your DMs, I'd recommend that you send 20 DMs per day, every day, to people that are interacting with your content, following you on social media, or liking your videos. Now again, at first, you're not gonna have a lot of people engaging on your social media. Welcome to the fucking game. You also weren't jacked when you first started working out. I don't know what to tell you. But if you stay consistent over time, eventually you'll get better at content. People will start to reach out. People will start to see you as an authority, especially if you set up your profile properly, like I told you in the first video. Okay, so let's recap. In order for people to purchase off you, they need to know you, like you, and trust you. In order for people to know you, like you, and trust you, we are gonna create connection content, proof content, and value content. I also recommended a posting schedule for you guys, so stick to it because it's gonna help you out. 5 posts per week, 80% of them reels, 1 photo posts. Active on your stories every day, 7 days a week, 3 live streams per week, 2 call to actions per week, and at least 20 DMs per day. Now, in a perfect world, you get people that would reach out to you every single day and they'd be waiting to pay you money and they'd be so excited to talk to you about your offer. But unfortunately, this world isn't perfect. My face is though. You're gonna have to spend some time building relationships with people on social media if you want them to take action on your offer. Now, if you watched the last video, you're gonna know where the best place to find leads are. Now, since this world isn't perfect, but my face is, I'm gonna teach you exactly where to find leads on social media so that you can reach out to them and potentially make them an offer. Now, first things first, what is the purpose of sending a DM? The purpose of sending a DM is not to get in a stranger's DM and try to offer them shit. If you do that, nobody will buy, they'll be disinterested, you'll piss them off. My rule of thumb with DMs is I never send cold DMs. My definition of a cold DM is somebody that's never interacted with my social media page, they've never followed me, they've never liked any of my content, they're on a random hashtag, on a random Facebook group. I'm not gonna send cold DMs. Why? Because if you do this, you're gonna be like every other MF on the internet that's annoying and that's annoying. Literally, if you send me a cold DM on Instagram offering me copywriting or anything like that, I will block you, so don't do it. Now, that being said, we are only going to interact with people that we have some sort of established relationship with on social media. Here are the 5 best places to find leads to message on your social media. The first is obviously your DMs. Whenever you first start lead generation, you shouldn't start by finding conversations that aren't there. Instead, you should pay attention to the people that are already there. My rule of thumb is that if somebody sends me a DM interested in my coaching offer, I wanna get back to them on the same day and try to book that call within a 24-hour time period. Any longer than that, you're gonna lose the temperature of the lead, they're not gonna get interested. So if you get somebody that sends you a DM about your coaching program and you don't book a call on the first day, you up. The second place I'd go is Instagram story poll responders. Now, I'd recommend that you put polls up on your Instagram stories for people to interact with. As people are interacting with these stories, you can send them messages thanking them for engaging in your content. These type of people that are engaging with your social media on Instagram story polls, to me, are showing that they have intent. My definition of intent is there's some level of interest in working with you or interacting with your page. Otherwise, they could just scroll by and never interact with you. The fact that they're even interacting with your page tells me that they're interested on some level. The second place I would go to find leads is my Instagram commenters. These are people that are interacting with your content enough to leave a genuine comment. You can find these people on Facebook or on Instagram. Anybody that's commenting on my photos, I want to shoot them a message thanking them for engaging with my content. Third place I'd go is Instagram likes and Facebook likes on my photos. Now, this is where 90% of your leads are going to be, because most people are just going to scroll through your content, like it, and then move on to the next post. That doesn't mean that we can't build a relationship with these people though. What we want to do with these leads will tend to be warm/cold-ish, because we just want to shoot them a message thanking them for engaging with our content and asking them if they need anything to ever let us know. The fourth place that you want to find leads is new followers on Instagram. Anybody that comes into your audience, whether that's a new follower, a new friend, you want to shoot them a message and say, thanks for following me, thanks for friend requesting me, it's great to have you in my audience. And the last place I'd go to find leads on Instagram is Instagram story viewers. Now, these are going to be the coldest leads out of them all. However, anybody that's watching your story on Instagram is somewhat interested in you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying attention. Now, I'm actually gonna give you a bonus place to find leads, especially if you're just getting started as a new online fitness coach, and that's your friends list and your follower list. If they're friends with you on Facebook or they followed you on Instagram, you have a relationship with them at some point in your life, you can just shoot them a message and say, hey, I just wanted to connect again, how are you doing? Just that opening message of just making the reconnection, not everybody's gonna respond, but the people that do, some of them might have problems in their fitness journey right now, and they're gonna trust you because they already have a relationship with you. Now, my favorite opening DM is, hey Nick, just wanted to say thanks so much for engaging in my content. Are you on a fitness journey yourself or just enjoying the content? Another message you can send is, hey Nick, I just want to say thanks for engaging in my content. I appreciate you and I hope you're having a great day. Hey Nick, I just want to say thanks so much for following me, brother. What about my content made you decide to follow? Now, the first thing that you need to do once you get a prospect in the DM is you need to pay attention to the temperature of the lead. Now, here's how you're going to assess the temperature of the lead. Time of response plus length of response equals temperature of lead. So if somebody takes a long time to respond and they give you a very short response, it's a cold lead. If somebody takes a long time to respond, but they give you a long response, it's a warm lead. If somebody replies very quickly, but they give you a short response, it's a warm lead. If somebody replies very quickly and they're giving you long responses, it's a hot lead. So with cold leads, you're not gonna sell them anything. They're not interested. Also, I just need to say this. If you send somebody a message and they don't message you back, they're not interested. Okay, so stop messaging them. They're gonna watch your content and at some point they might be interested, but if you just slide into their DMs and you just keep sliding into their DMs when they haven't responded to you, that is an indicator that they ain't interested and they're not gonna buy your stuff. My recommendation would be to move on, and you're not sending DMs to book a call with every person that you send a DM to. You're sending DMs to build relationships. So there's gonna be some of those people that you send DMs to that wanna book a call with you. If you send 20 DMs a day, 5 days a week, that's 100 DMs. Out of those 100 DMs, there might be 5 people that are interested in booking in for your offer. You book 3 sales calls, you sell 2 clients at $1,000, 100% that's worth it. So if it's a cold lead, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna lean out and you're gonna let them know, if there's ever anything I can offer you, please let me know. I've got a free ebook that I wrote for my private clients. I could send it over if it might be interesting to you. If they say yes, send them an ebook. If it's a warm lead, you're gonna proceed with the DM script and you're gonna book a call. And if it's a hot lead, you wanna book a call as soon as possible, because somebody that's sending long messages really fast really wants to buy your shit. Otherwise, they would go do something else with their life that's a little bit more interesting than talking to you on the DMs. Now, I should be charging you for this, but I'm gonna put you on some game. Here are the 5 questions you need to ask in every DM script. Question number 1, would you mind if I ask a couple of questions to see if I can help? This question gives you permission to ask them fitness questions. Question number 2, what's the biggest struggle that you have in your fitness journey? The biggest reason you wanna ask this question first is because most people are thinking about the problems. So as soon as you ask them about their struggle, they will tell you. Question number 3, what's the biggest goal that you have in your fitness journey right now? This gives them a future to shoot for, it gives them something to aspire to, and it's gonna give them a reason to want to book a call with you. Question number 4, in the next 60 to 90 days, what are the top 2 to 3 results that you want in your fitness journey? And question number 5, would you like some help? By asking this question, would you like some help, you're basically implying that you might have something that can help them solve their problem. If they say no to this, don't book the call. If they say yes to this, then you'll say this. Tell you what, Nick, why don't we do this? Let's set up a quick 15-minute call. We'll talk about your number 1 struggle, your number 1 goal, and I'll give you a game plan to help you achieve your goals. Are you up for that? They will say yes, and then you'll send your calendar link that I got you to build in one of the previous videos. Go ahead and book it now. Spots always fill up quick. Send me a screenshot and let me know what time you pick. Cool? Once they send you a screenshot, now you've got a call booked, and bam, just like that, you're gonna be able to make a sale. So let's recap. Now you know where to find your leads. Now you know what to say to them. Now you know what the DM script is, and you know how to identify what a cold lead, warm lead, and hot lead is. Armed with this knowledge, you can now book sales call for your coaching offer. You're welcome. My goal is to give you so much value in these videos that you regret hiring any other business coach if you have in the past, and you wish that you came to me first. And if you did come to me first, I just want to say you made the right choice. So now that we've got everything set up and we've got the opportunity to book phone calls with leads, what do we do when they're actually on the phone? Don't worry, I got you. Now, first things first, you can't sell the thin air, which means people actually have to show up to that phone call. So in Calendly, what you want to do is you want to set up email and text reminders. You want to set them up for 24 hours before and 1 hour before the event. I would just recommend using the email and text reminders that are already pre-programmed into Calendly. You just have to set them up so that when people book the call, automatically they're going to get reminded. Now, unfortunately, this by itself isn't enough. Why? Because people are lazy, they forget, or they just don't want to talk to you. So another thing you're going to do is the night before you're done work, every night, you're gonna check your calendar for the following day and you're gonna see who has a sales call booked. Anybody that has a sales call booked, you're gonna open up your calendar and you're gonna send them this video. Yo, what's going on, John? Hope you're having the best day of your entire life. Just check the calendar for tomorrow, saw we're booked in for a quick 20-minute call. I'm super excited. We're gonna talk about your number one struggle, your number one goal, and I'm gonna give you a game plan to help you achieve your goals. Bring a pen and paper, it's gonna be awesome, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. Sending a personalized video like this will instantly build more rapport, it'll build more trust, and they're gonna feel like dickhead if they don't show up because you sent them a personal video. Now understand this, people don't show up to calls like this with a credit card in hand ready to purchase. If that was the case, they would already be in shape, they wouldn't need you, and they'd already be fit. Every single person that comes to these sales calls is going to have excuses for why they can't take action, because if they didn't have excuses, they would already be in shape and they wouldn't need you. So you need to expect that people are gonna come to the call with objections. Now the 4 main objections that you're going to get: time, I don't have the time for it, I want to start next week. Money, I don't have the money for that, it's outside of my budget. Spouse, I need to talk to my spouse, I need to talk to my partner, I need to talk to my dog, or I need to think about it, which isn't an actual objection, it's a smoke screen for one of these 3. So the first part of the call, what you're gonna do is you're gonna build some rapport. What's going on, Nick? How you doing, brother? Good, yeah, I'm doing good as well, my man. I'm just getting to work on some client programs and everything like that. Cool, you mind if we jump in? Then you're gonna get into what I call the pre-frame. The pre-frame is gonna set the container for the entire call. If you don't do a pre-frame, what's gonna happen is they're gonna view you as a friend and not a coach. And people don't buy from friends, they buy from coaches. And so in the first 30 seconds of the call, you need to make sure that you set the pre-frame, and this is exactly what you're gonna say. All right, Nick, so what we're gonna do in today's call is I'm basically gonna ask you a few questions to figure out exactly what you're struggling with in your fitness journey, what your goals are, and then I'm gonna help you come up with a game plan to achieve your goals. At the end of the call, if I feel like I can help you out, I'll invite you to work with me. And if I feel like I can't help you out, I'll let you know and I'll point you in a different direction. Does that sound good? Now, once they agree within the first 30 seconds of the call, they're like, yep, that sounds good. They've agreed to the container that you are the coach, they are the client, and you've also told them, I'm gonna pitch you something at the end of the call. Now we're gonna get into the pain points. What we need to do with the pain points is we need to figure out exactly what brought them to the call. So Nick, let's get into it. What would you say is the biggest struggle that you have in your fitness journey right now? And we're gonna use what I call the 3 layers deep theory. Okay, that makes sense. You have been struggling to lose 20 pounds, okay? And how long have you been struggling to lose that weight? That's layer 2. 3 years. Oh my gosh, that's a long time. That's a long time, brother, I feel that. And out of curiosity, what made this like a right now thing for you to reach out and ask for some help? Once we identify the pain points and we get to the root cause of the problem, at that point, we can move on to the next part of the script. Now, you wanna make sure with the pain points that you're not rushing through these questions, that you're actually taking the time to listen to the prospect, hear them out. Maybe you're asking some expansive questions. What do you mean by that? What exactly does that mean? Can you elaborate a little bit more? However, the goal of asking these questions in the pain point part of the script is to uncover the root cause of why people are actually on that call with you. If you can figure out the root cause, the actual core pain point of what brought them to the call, not that they want to lose 20 pounds, but because they looked at themselves in the mirror and they hated what they saw in their reflection and they realized they were letting their kids down, if you can get to that reason, I guarantee you it's going to be a lot easier to close. Plus, if you don't have a very good memory, make sure that you're taking notes throughout the call, because throughout the call, you're going to be able to write down specific things that you can bring up when you pitch. Next part of the script is why now, why me? This is where you're going to ask a prospect what made them show up to the call with you today, and why did they choose to get on the call with you instead of another online coach? So Nick, I gotta ask, what makes this a right now thing for you? Like, you know, you could start your fitness journey in a year or 2 years, but you showed up with a call with me today. Like, what makes this a right now thing for you? Asking this question will allow them to feel an internal sense of urgency, and they won't feel like you're selling them. They'll feel like they're selling themselves, which ultimately is the goal. If you sell somebody something, they might regret buying it. But if they buy it because of their own internal reasons, it's not even gonna feel like you sold them. And Nick, I gotta ask, you know, there's a lot of people that you could reach out to for help. What made you decide to get on this call with me today? Well, you're so handsome and I love your beard and your face is nice. Cool. Next part of the call, we're gonna get to the vision. Now in the vision part of the script, this is really where people struggle, because a lot of people have been overweight their entire lives. And a lot of people are gonna have a really hard time figuring out exactly what they want in their fitness journey. So we're gonna ask, so Nick, let me ask you, what would you say is your number one goal for your fitness journey right now? Losing that 20 pounds? Okay, great. Let's dive a little bit deeper on that. So let's say we lost the 20 pounds, Nick. You know, what does that actually look like for you? How would that make you feel? Great. Okay, perfect. So let's do this for a second. Nick, close your eyes for a sec. I want you to imagine we're 6 months into the future. You look at yourself in the mirror. You're literally in the best shape of your life. You lost 20 pounds. You can see your abs. You can see some veins. You look and feel your very best. Tell me how that makes you feel. And what areas of your life would benefit if you were in the best shape of your life? How would your relationships improve? What about your social life? What about your confidence? Can you see that? Bro, I believe in you. 20 pounds is a very realistic goal within the next 12 weeks. I got you. Now, once we've got their pain point and their vision, this creates the next point number 5, which is called the gap. Now, the gap is the distance between where they are right now and where they want to be. Our job on that call is to widen the gap. So Nick, I gotta ask, now that I know exactly what you want to lose the 20 pounds, see your six pack, be in the best shape ever, why do you feel like you haven't been able to achieve these goals on your own? Fair enough. And just out of curiosity, I just want to play devil's advocate for a second. Let's just pretend that you do absolutely nothing on this call. You decide, you know what, B, I'm just going to stick to my stuff right now. I don't want to do anything different. I don't want to shake things up. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. Let's say you stay the same for the next 6 months, 12 months, a year, and maybe you actually gain another 10 to 20 pounds. How would that make you feel? So right now on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say it is for you to make a change right now so you actually lose the weight? We've got the pre-frame, the pain points, why now, why me, the vision, the gap. Now we're actually gonna do a fitness assessment. So step number 6 is where you do the assessment. The biggest mistake you can make on your calls is giving advice throughout the call. Throughout the call, you wanna treat yourself like a doctor. When you go into a doctor and you've got some ear pain, you go up to him and you're like, doctor, my ear hurts. And he says, how long has it been hurting for? And you're like, 3 years. And you're like, why haven't you come to me sooner? Because I'm stupid. What do you think is wrong with your ear? I don't know. Can you please help me? He's gonna ask you questions to figure out exactly what you're struggling with. And once he has enough data, he's gonna make a recommendation. That's how you wanna treat your sales call. You wanna collect as much data as possible throughout the call. Once you've got enough data, then when you get to point 6, you can say, do you mind if I coach you for a minute, Nick? So based on everything you've told me so far, you're eating out at McDonald's 3 times a week, you're going to the gym twice a week, you're doing 2 hours of cardio a day, bro, no wonder you're not losing weight. You're putting your body in this constant state of stress. You're not giving it the nutrients that it needs. Then you're overtraining yourself in the gym by doing 2 hours of cardio a day. Plus you're not doing enough resistance training to build weight. You're all over the place, Nick, all right? So first things first, we gotta stop the McDonald's. Second thing, we're gonna cut back the cardio. Third thing is I'm gonna increase your calorie intake on a daily basis. You're gonna be able to eat more food and lose weight and feel your very best because you're not constantly burnt out from all the cardio. Is everything I'm saying making sense? Once they say yes, you're gonna test their commitment levels one more time. Okay, Nick, so I gotta say, I only work with serious people in my coaching program because I care about your results and I want you to win. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I don't care about this right now, 10 being I'll do whatever it takes to lose the weight, where are you sitting on that scale? When you ask them that question, it will give you an answer for how they're feeling in terms of their objection. If they give you anything less than a 10, there's an objection coming up for sure. So if they're like 7, I'm like, okay, great, I totally get that. So why is it a 7 and not a 10? And then they're gonna say, well, because I need to make sure it fits the finances, or, well, because I'm really busy with my schedule right now, or, because I really have to floss my cat next week. And then you can be like, okay, great, that makes sense. But I wasn't really asking about you flossing your cat, Nick. I was asking, I'm gonna work really hard on your meal plan and training plan, and I'm gonna do that for you, and I'm gonna make sure it's awesome. If I give you your meal plan and training plan, are you actually gonna do your very best, or are you just gonna give it a 7 out of 10 effort? Well, I'm gonna give it my very best. Okay, great. So would you say you're a 7 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? Well, I'm a 10 out of 10 when you put it like that. Okay, that's awesome. Now I just got them to recommit over their objection, which will make it easier for them to say yes at the end of the call. Then you're gonna talk about your program. So Nick, at the beginning of the call, I'd let you know whether or not I could help you out. The good news is you're definitely the type of person that I could help. Would you mind if I told you a little bit about my coaching program? They're gonna say yes, because you're handsome and you got a nice beard. Okay, Nick, so I do a 12-week total body transformation program that has 3 different layers: the training, the nutrition, and the accountability. So for the training program, I know that your goal is to lose 20 pounds, so I'm gonna update your program every 4 weeks, and I'm gonna make sure that your plan is designed so that you actually lose the weight. Does that make sense? We're gonna do what's called the yes ladder. We're gonna say, does that make sense? They're gonna say yes. For the nutrition, I'm gonna update your plan on a weekly basis, and I know how important it is for you to lose this weight. So every week, your plan will either have you losing weight, or if it doesn't, I will make adjustments to your plan so that you actually lose the weight. Does that make sense? Yes. That's 2 yeses now. Perfect. And for the accountability, I'm gonna check in with you every single week. I'm gonna send you a check-in. It's your job to send me the check-in back. Once I have your check-in, I'll give you a response and I'll tell you what adjustments we're gonna make for the week. That way, we're always losing weight or we're making changes so that we lose weight the next week. Is that cool? Perfect. So Nick, out of the training, nutrition, and accountability, what part of the program stood out the most for you? So we got 2 things there. I'm gonna pause for a second. We got the yes ladder, because does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? Yes. So this is called the yes ladder. We stack up yeses so it makes it more likely they'll say yes to the end of the call. Then we're gonna move on to step 8, which is getting them to sell it back to you. So Nick, I gotta ask, out of all the parts of the program that I mentioned, which part of the program stood the most for you? The nutrition plan and your handsome beard. Okay, great. And why do you feel like the nutrition plan would benefit you the most? Now they're gonna give you a bunch of reasons why the nutrition plan is awesome, and they're gonna sell themselves on the program for you. Now we're gonna move to step 9, drop the price. Okay, Nick, so the only thing we haven't covered is the timeline and the investment. So I do a 12-week transformation program. Now, if you were to hire an in-person trainer for 12 weeks, it would cost you about $3,000 and you wouldn't get a nutrition plan. My training, nutrition, and accountability program comes with guaranteed results, and for 12 weeks, it's only $9.99. How does that sound?
Well, that's a little bit outside the budget, Brian.
Totally understand, Nick. Now, finances aside, does the program sound like what you're looking for?
Well, yeah, I think it sounds pretty good.
So just to be super clear, like you do feel like the program is gonna help you lose 20 pounds, it's just the financial aspect?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So, I would hate for finances to be the reason that you didn't take action today. And I understand $9.99 is a little bit of an investment, but let me ask you, Nick, if we were able to help you lose 20 pounds in the next 12 weeks, would that investment be worth it? It would? Okay, great. So is it that you don't have a card you can put on? Is it savings or is it something else? You just don't have it? Okay, well, why don't we do this? Typically speaking, I don't like doing this because clients at Pay in Full are typically more committed and they actually follow through on their goals. So I gotta know if I get you in on some sort of deal that you're actually gonna follow the program, you're gonna do everything that I ask, and you're actually gonna lose the weight. Can I get your commitment on that? Okay, so Nick, what I can do for you is I'll do $350 a month. That way you can get started right now. We'll cut out the money that you're spending on fast food because I'm not gonna let you eat fast food if you're in my program. That will save you some money on the budget. This is a lot easier on the budget. We can get you started at $350 and we can start losing that 20 pounds. How does that sound? Ha-boom, you close the deal. Now there's also the time objection, the spouse objection, and I'll think about it objection. I'm gonna cover those really quickly in this video. And I'm just gonna let you know, if you want some help with your online coaching business and this training's been valuable, I want you to tap the button below to book in for a call with me and my team. We'll talk about your number one struggle, your number one goal, and we will help you come up with a game plan. I know this series has been massively valuable for you, and I want you to know that our coaching program is even better. It has not only me, but we've got 10 other coaches in there that are literally delivering high value at all times. You're gonna have 24/7 support. Any question that you ever have will be answered within 24 hours by at least 2 coaches, including my business partner, Cole De Silva, who has over 3 million followers on all social media platforms. So if you're interested, tap the button below to book in for a call with me and my team. Let's talk about the spouse objection. Okay, Nick, totally get that you need to speak with your spouse. Does your spouse know that we're speaking today? Perfect. And typically speaking, is she supportive of your goals and she wants you to win? She is? Okay, great. So, Nick, if your spouse did have an objection to you taking action today, what do you think the objection would be?
Well, the budget.
My advice for spouse objections, you guys, is I don't think it's good to actually sell them without them talking to their spouse. I think it's a recipe for buyer's remorse, so here's what I do. All right, Nick, so listen, I want you to speak with your spouse, and can I be honest with you? Perfect. I've been on hundreds of these calls, and I know for a fact that if you get off this call without taking any action, the likelihood of you not taking action is very, very high, which means you don't lose the weight, and I didn't do my job properly. So go speak with your spouse. Here's what we'll do. Let's get down to a $100 deposit right now to represent your commitment to your own goals. If you talk to your spouse and she thinks my beard is stupid or she doesn't like the idea for whatever reason, I'll send you your money back in full. I just want to see that you're actually committed to your own goals and that you actually want to win. How does that sound? Ha-boom, collect the deposit. Time. I want to start next week. Okay, I totally get it, Nick. Now, just out of curiosity, what about next week makes you want to start?
Oh, it's gonna be a better time for me because I'm in school right now, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, great. So just to be super clear, the program sounds amazing. You really do want to start, but you just want to get started next week because you're busy this week of school. Is that correct? That's correct. Well, here's what we'll do. I do want to start next week as well. That makes complete sense. So what we'll do today is we'll get you started on the 350. We'll do the 350 today. That way I can send you the questionnaire, you can fill it out, and by the time next week comes around, we'll be fully ready to go with your fitness program. I know for a fact if you get off this call and you don't take any action, nothing's gonna change. So we'll do 350 now to represent your commitment to your own goals. I'll send you the questionnaire, you can get it back to me. I'll do your program over the next 7 days, and then in a week, we can just rock and roll. How does that sound? Ha-boom, you close the deal. I need to think about it. Isn't an actual fucking objection. So when it comes up, here's what you say. Nick, I totally get it, brother. Now, just out of curiosity, what exactly is it that you need to think about?
I don't know.
Okay, great. So is it the timing? Do you need to talk with your spouse? Is it the program itself, or is it something else?
Well, it's just a big decision, and I heard a fitness coach before, and it didn't work.
Then you uncover their actual objection, and once you uncover their actual objection, you can go for the close. So is it just because you hired another fitness coach before and that program didn't work, and you feel like this one isn't gonna work? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick, I don't want to be like these other guys that take your money and don't deliver results. So how about I do something special for you?
Well, what do you mean?
I'm willing to offer you a 100% money back guarantee. And here's what that looks like. You complete all your check-ins, you do the work, you show up for yourself. Over the course of the next 12 weeks, you don't lose that 20 pounds, I will send you back every single dollar that you paid. That way, you're protected because you know that your investment is safe. Because if you do the work, you're gonna lose the weight. And if you don't, I'll send you back all your money. How does that sound? Ha-boom, you close the deal. And now we are gonna be talking about how to deliver an amazing service to your clients and make sure that they stick around for long term. Now, the biggest misconception most online trainers struggle with is thinking that they're selling a training and a nutrition plan. These two things are literally less than half of the equation. What actually matters is, don't get me wrong, you need to make sure that the training program and nutrition program doesn't suck. But what actually matters is the client's adherence to the program. Now, if the client doesn't adhere to the program, you could do the perfect nutrition plan, the perfect meal plan, designed specifically for their fitness goals. And if they followed it, they get amazing results. But if they don't adhere to that program, your job is completely meaningless. The money that they paid you is going to be wasted. And so you need to do everything in your power to set up your program for optimal success. And the first part of that is understanding that you are not selling a training and nutrition program. You are selling an accountability program. Once you understand that you're selling an accountability program and you start teaching and you start coaching and you start mentoring people to not only go to the grocery store and go to the gym, but really coaching them through all the little nuances that involve getting to that place, including overcoming their limiting beliefs and answering all the questions that they have around their nutrition plan or their fitness plan so that they feel super secure and safe following the protocol. This is a massive part of coaching. And so the first thing is, like, you need to understand it's not training nutrition, you're selling accountability. If they wanted training nutrition, they could literally go to ChatGPT and type in, "Hey ChatGPT, I'm a 200-pound male that wants to lose 20 pounds. Please write me a training plan and a nutrition program, including with macros." And I guarantee you ChatGPT would spit out something pretty accurate. Now, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into the 5 things that you need to do in order to set up your program for long-term success, for retention, renewals, and upsells. Thing number 1, onboarding. Onboarding is the single most important aspect of a fitness journey, because if a client comes into your program and they don't get into green light right away, they're not gonna start the program. Most people end up dropping off of a fitness program because they never even started. And so in your onboarding sequence, what you need to do is you need to make sure that your client gets into green light right away. And here's exactly how I'd recommend doing that. Step number 1, on the call, make sure you tell them what the next steps are. So Nick, now that you've paid, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you over the welcome questionnaire. What I need you to do is get that back to me within the next 24 hours. Once I get your welcome questionnaire back, it's gonna take me about 7 days to design your program. And in the meantime, I'm gonna send you a get started guide so that you can go out and you can buy your Tupperware containers, your food scale, and any other units of measurements that you might need. I'm gonna send you a full guide so you know exactly what to do. Telling the prospect what the next step is super important, because if they get off that call and they pay you and there's no clear next step, they're not gonna feel very good about that purchase, right? So we need to make sure we prevent buyer's remorse by walking them through the journey of what's coming next. So you send the questionnaire, they send it back to you, then you get to work on their meal plan and training plan. While you're working on their meal plan and training plan, send them a get started guide. In this get started guide, I'd go over basic fitness stuff, like how much water they should be drinking based on their body weight, their food scale that they need to pick up, any cooking utensils they're gonna need to pick up, Tupperware containers, measuring cups, maybe a big bottle of water. Anything that you think is essential to start a fitness journey, get them to do that stuff while you're designing their training plan and their meal plan. Now, once you've completed their training plan and their meal plan, what you're gonna do is you're gonna set up an onboarding call with them. When you first get your fitness business started, I would recommend setting up one-on-one 15-minute onboarding calls with every single one of your clients. Here's exactly what you're gonna do on those calls. You're gonna get on the call with them and you're gonna send them a meal plan and training plan, and you're just gonna walk them through it. I need you to download Trainerize, cool, this is how you access the dashboard. I need you to download MyFitnessPal, cool, this is how you access the dashboard. You're gonna walk them through every single part of this specific program so that they know exactly what they're getting into and they've got no questions. On that onboarding call, you're also gonna go over expectations. The expectations of them as your client is that you're gonna send a check-in every Thursday. They're gonna reply back every Friday morning by noon at the latest. Anything later than noon is classified as a late check-in, which you don't do. So you need to set that expectation in the onboarding early so that when they sign up for the program, they know what their responsibilities are. Now, the onboarding call is also the perfect place to plant the seed for future renewals. So on that onboarding call, you can say something like, okay, so again, you're on the 12-week program. Most of my best clients stick with me for about a year or so, but 12 weeks is usually where we start. So, once we're at the 8-week mark, we're gonna talk about what your next steps are in your fitness journey, because as we lose this 20 pounds, I'm sure you're gonna wanna gain some lean muscle, am I right? So basically, we'll talk about that once you're at the 8-week mark, but let's get you started on the 12-week program first, and let's rock and roll. Number 2, personalizing the client experience. Now listen, people are paying you a premium price for a premium service. And so don't get me wrong, you can have workout templates that you use, but every single client that you sign, you need to make sure that the workout program is designed specifically for them. So even if you're building off of a template, you wanna make sure that the workouts that are in that program are tailored to your client's specific needs. Another thing that's really important in terms of maintaining an excellent client service is every single week in your check-ins, you're gonna ask a question that's gonna say, is there any program adjustments you feel like we need to make, or is there anything that I can do better to serve you as a coach? Now, obviously you're gonna do the training plan, the nutrition plan, the check-ins, etc., but you also wanna make sure that you personalize the client experience, and anything that the client needs for a little bit of extra motivation goes a long way. An example of something that I used to do with my fitness clients is every morning I would set aside 15 to 20 minutes I'd go through my trainerize and I'd see who hit their workouts, I congratulate them, or I'd see who missed their workouts and I'd send them a message on trainerize, and if I didn't hear back over trainerize, I would send them a text the same day. This sort of personalization and these sort of extra small touches make a massive difference in terms of retention, because when somebody comes to the end of the 12-week program, they're gonna remember the little things that you did for them, not the 12-week experience. And listen, you might have 15 to 20 clients and you might view them as a number, but they only have one coach and they only have you. And so the relationship that they have with you is very important, and you need to make sure that their relationship with you is special. Number 3 is effective communication cadence. Now, for effective communication cadence, this is what I'd recommend. So when you send a client, these are the expectations. So Nick, I just want you to know that any question you ever ask me over trainerize will be answered within 24 hours, Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I take the weekends off because, I have a life too. But Monday to Friday, any question that you ever have to ask will be answered within 24 hours. Not to mention the weekly check-ins. I'm gonna send you a check-in every single week. It's your responsibility to reply back to me. And finally, we also have the Facebook community. If you ever have any questions that you feel like you want answers from the community from, or you want to glean some collective insights, or you just want to get some extra motivation and inspiration, make sure you're posting in the Facebook community and supporting the other members in the group. You need to communicate with your clients what the communication cadence is and what's expected of them. Obviously, it's your job to make sure that the client is actually following the program, but it's also the client's job to make sure that they're checking in with you, make sure that they're communicating with you, make sure that if they're struggling, that they're reaching out to you so you can help them. But you, as the coach of the program, need to make sure that you effectively communicate what the communication cadence is so that the client knows what's expected of them and they know what to expect from you. Number 4, create a community of raving fans. This is one that I see 99% of online coaches getting wrong because they just don't think it's important. They don't think it's important to have a community. They don't think it's important for their team members to meet each other. But here's the thing, and this is why I build a community, is because there are times where your fitness client does not want to check in with you because they feel ashamed, because they skip their workouts, because they skip their meals, all of the above. And when the client is resistant to you, if you don't have a community, you are the only lifeline. Which means if they feel resistant to you and they don't want to talk to you, they're not going to talk to you, which means they're more likely to drop off. However, if the client feels resistance to you, but you have the backbone of a Facebook community that's popping, where people are sharing wins and they're excited and they're supporting each other and they're helping each other out, the client, even though they might not want to talk to you, is going to log into their Facebook and they're going to see all these amazing transformations and all these amazing wins. And that will give them the inspiration to get back into the game, to get back in contact with you. If your business is just about you, it is setting up to fail. You guys, PT Domination has worked with over 8,000 online fitness coaches. Right now, we have over 1,700 active clients. With me and Cole by ourselves, it's impossible to serve this community. So we have a community of coaches that all support each other, not to mention mine and Cole's direct leadership. This is what allows our business to grow over time, as community. One of my previous clients that worked with me one-on-one was struggling with his retention. We're talking about 30 to 50% of the people that would come to the end of the program would re-sign. That's it. Which meant that he was losing 70% of business every 12 weeks. And so I told him, I'm like, you need to build a community, and that needs to be your top priority. Over the course of the next 12 weeks, he built out his Facebook community. He did 2 lives every single week. He was in there every day supporting the ladies. Anytime a lady had a question in their check-in or something that they wanted to celebrate, he would encourage them to post in the group, and then he'd get the other women to support them. Just by doing that alone, his re-sign rate went from 30% to 70%. That's a big difference. Right? And the only difference, we didn't change his nutrition plan, we didn't change his training plans, we didn't change how he delivered his program. The only difference is we made sure that we had a focal point of building the Facebook community. And so this comes down to the onboarding, right? Because when you onboard a client, what you're gonna get them to do on that onboarding call is you're gonna get them to join the Facebook group. So what I'm gonna get you to do is I'm gonna get you to join this Facebook group right here. So just go ahead and request. Cool. Now that you're in, once we're done this call, I actually want you to make a post with a photo of yourself, introducing yourself and what your goals are and why you're excited to be here. What you're gonna find is the other members of the group will support you, they'll love up on you, and you're gonna see that you're not alone on this fitness journey. There's other people that are just like you that are also on the same journey. By the way, part of the expected communication cadence with every single client that you onboard is that they are supported by the other group members and they support the other group members. That's a part of the onboarding and it's a part of the expectations. Number 5, know when to go for the renewal. Most online fitness coaches wait until the end of a client program to go for the renewal, and that's the wrong time because the client has already made the decision that they're not gonna renew at that point. They know they're on week 11 or week 12. What you need to do if you wanna renew as many clients as possible is a month before those clients are up for renewal, you need to reach out and you need to set up a call. On that call with them, you're gonna talk about the previous struggles that they had before they started working with you, the progress that they made since they've been with you, and what their future goals are. You're gonna use that widened of a gap because you're gonna talk about their past pain where they're currently at, and then you're gonna create a gap to their future goals. You're gonna use that gap to go for the renewal. So since we're at the end of our 12-week program where there's 4 weeks left, what I'd love to do with you is the next phase, I wanna focus on hypertrophy specifically. So I wanna make sure that we're building lean muscle tissue. Now that we lost 20 pounds, I think it's important that we start adding on some muscle. If we do this, it's gonna make it easier for you to keep the fat off long term. So what I'd like to do with you next is I'd like to go into a muscle building phase, which means we're gonna be increasing your calories, you're gonna be eating more food and still losing more weight. How does that sound? Sounds great? Okay, perfect. So again, you're my client, so I'm gonna give you the OG rate. Usually when new clients come on, right now I increase my prices, it's $14.99, but for you, I'll give you the next 12 weeks for $9.99. Does that sound fair? And yes, you can lock in your spot today. So let's just do the installment today, and then I'm gonna extend an extra 12 weeks as soon as your program's done. Perfect, I just sent you a link. Can you see that? Bam, signed. So let's quickly recap what we learned in this video. Number 1, onboarding. Your goal is to get them into green light right away. Number 2, personalize your client experience. You need to make sure that your clients feel seen, heard, and appreciated because you might have 15 clients, but they only have 1 coach. Third thing is an expected communication cadence. You need to let the client know when you're gonna be communicating with them and when they're expected to communicate with you. These expectations need to set up front so that every party knows what's expected. 4, create a community of raving fans. If you don't have a community of people that are ride or die for your business, if somebody's struggling and they're not reaching out to you and they're not reaching out to the community, they're gonna drop off. Having a community is gonna increase retention massively, increase renewals massively, and it's gonna create a tribe of loyal people. And number 5, know when to go for the renewal. Don't wait until the end of the program. You wanna make sure that you're catching them at least 4 weeks before their program expires and offering them an extension at the loyalty rate because they're an OG client. Now, starting and scaling a business is fun. Getting it to $10,000 a month is funner. So what does it actually take to get an online coaching business to $10,000 a month? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be one of those business coaches that promises you that you're gonna make $10,000 in the next 30 days, because it's just not gonna happen. The reality of the situation is that you need to develop the skills that are required to get to $10,000 a month if you wanna hit that next level. You can follow phone scripts, you can follow DM scripts, you can follow content templates, but unless you develop the skill of content, the skill of sales, the skill of delivering an amazing service, you'll never be successful. The first concept I wanna talk about is repeating successful actions. What I mean by that is just by following the instructions that we've went over in this video series, you will be able to see initial success with your online coaching business. Now, how do you continue to get more success? You keep doing what's working. Repeat successful actions. The reason I go to the gym 5 times a week is I like being juicy. The reason I eat healthy food is I like feeling good. The reason I drink water is because I know it's good for me. And I do these things every single day. And so once you identify what the needle movers are in your business, content creation, lead generation, sales calls, delivering a valuable service, you just need to develop a system and a schedule to do that literally every single day. Write this down. The boring work produces the breakthroughs. If you want to get to $10,000 a month, identify what signs clients and then do that over and over and over and over and over again. Thing number 2 is skill development. We already talked about this at the start of the video, but I'm gonna really hone in on it because the difference between somebody that makes it to $100,000 a month and somebody that stays stuck at $2,000 a month is the level of skill that they have. The level of skill that they have with their content creation, the level of skill that they have with their sales, the level of skill that they have with delivering an amazing service. And this is the thing, right? Like, you might suck really bad right now, and you might not like that. But if your videos are getting less than 1,000 views, you suck, right? If they're getting less than 10,000 views, you still suck. And that's okay, because you can take that and you can be like, okay, if content is not my strong suit right now, I'm going to focus on the skill set day after day after day after day until I get better. And how do we advance in a skill? Well, there's multiple different areas. Number 1 is we need to practice. Through repetition, we get better and better and better. Number 2, we need to commit to getting 1% better every single day, which means every time that we do a recording session or every time that we do content, we're committing to trying to be just a little bit better than we were last time. Number 3, we need to find people we're inspired by. Find people that are viral. Find people that are creating valuable content, and then ask ourselves, what elements of this content can I take into my own content? The 4th thing is really taking a look at your own content and honestly giving yourself an assessment on a scale of 1 to 10 on how good of a creator you are with every video that you put out. And then asking yourself with each video, if I could do this video again differently and I could do it better, what would I do differently? Now we need to take that skill development formula and we need to apply it to content. We need to apply it to our sales calls. Like every single time you get in a sales call is an opportunity to get better at sales, but you can also practice getting on sales calls by booking role plays with other community members, with other online trainers. They can practice being a client, you could practice being a coach, and you can practice selling each other so you're developing your sales skills when there's not money on the line. And so we're practicing the skill of sales over and over and over again. After every single sales call, I want you to mentally rehearse and ask yourself, if I could do that sales call again, what would I do differently? And then you're like, okay, I screwed up on this objection. So I'm gonna study the wife objection, I'm gonna role play the wife objection, I'm gonna practice the wife objection, and I'm gonna get better. And if you keep doing this process of, taking action, sitting back, analyzing action, figuring out what you can do better, going back and taking action, analyzing action, figuring out what you can do better, and you keep this process up, like over time, your skill is going to advance so much faster than everybody else's because you're just like learning from every mistake that you make. Now, in terms of delivery, how do we get better at delivery? You just ask your clients. Anytime a client leaves your program, simply ask them, so if there's anything I could have done differently to serve you as a coach or anything I could have done better, what would you recommend that I do differently next time? Because I want to make sure that clients like you get an amazing experience. And pay attention to their feedback. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you don't want to hear it. Sometimes it's not fun to get feedback when you think your program's awesome and your client thinks otherwise. But you can take different elements of this feedback that your clients give you and you can use that to improve your program. And over time, if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to get to a place where you're retaining 90 to 95% of your clients every month. Number 3, pick your platform and double down. Listen, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, and there's TikTok. My personal opinion, TikTok is not a money-making platform. It's a platform where you can get seen. It's not gonna make you money though. It's Facebook or Instagram. Now out of Facebook and Instagram, you're gonna have one platform that is a banger, AKA one platform that is crushing it for you. Whatever platform you sign the most amount of clients from, I want you to make all of your content for that platform. And then we're gonna repurpose that content on other platforms. And so whatever's working on Instagram, you're gonna study what's working on Instagram, what reels are going viral on Instagram, what people are responding to on Instagram. And then you're gonna make more of that content. And we're gonna take that same content and we're gonna reproduce it on Facebook, same post, same idea. Taking that same content, reproduce it on TikTok, same post, same idea, which gives us triple the exposure, but I'm not trying to optimize to make my Facebook Reels better. I'm trying to optimize to make my Instagram Reels better because Instagram is the place that I'm pulling the most amount of clients. Number 4, you need to track your numbers. Now the numbers that I'd recommend that you specifically track is number 1, how many clients do you currently have? You should know this number like the back of your hand. Number 2, how much money is your business making every single month? Again, you should know this number like the back of your hand. Number 3, what is your recurring income currently sitting at? Again, you should know this number like the back of your hand. Number 4, how many clients left your program this month? Number 5, how many applications did you get from your coaching program? Number 6, how many sales calls did you book? Number 7, how many of those sales calls showed up? Number 8, how many of those sales calls did you close? And number 9, how much cash did you collect from those sales calls? These 9 numbers will give you a foundational place to start. And once you know these numbers, you'll know what to improve. If you don't know these numbers, you're likely gonna make emotional decisions based on overgeneralizations. Like you'll get 3 no's in a row in a sales call and you're like, my sales skills suck, so I need to change my script. But if you look at the numbers in the last 10 sales calls, maybe you closed 7 in a row and then you just had 3 no's, you're overdue a yes. But you gotta know your numbers, otherwise you won't be able to make data-driven decisions. And data-driven decisions are the only decisions that are gonna scale your business to $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, then eventually $100,000 a month. Number 5, hire a mentor. We got to the end of the 8 video series and I'm just gonna lay it out for you straight. The reason that I've been able to get to the level that I'm currently at is because I invest in mentors. Investing in mentorship is not only valuable for you because you're going to learn new skills, you're gonna acquire more information, you're gonna get coaching and guidance from somebody that's actually been there, but it's also an investment in your future. It's also an investment in your family. It's also an investment in developing the very best version of you. Every great man on the planet has a great mentor to back him. I'm a perfect example of this. I've worked with dozens of mentors in my time, and each one of them has taught me 1, 2, 3 valuable lessons that's allowed me to get to the point where I'm at today. The top of the industry, the #1 business coach for online fitness coaches. Now, if you're watching this video and you got value from my content, I want you to understand that there is an entire ecosystem of value just like this inside of the members portal. There is an entire team of coaches just like myself who have a lot more value to offer. And this 8 video series where I literally gave you the entire blueprint on how to start your online coaching business is literally scratching the surface. There is so much to this. And I'm telling you, there's something different that unlocks inside of you when you actually make the commitment and you actually bet on yourself. And you actually put your money where your mouth is and you say, I'm gonna pay to learn this information. Because listen, if you wanna get the information, go to ChatGPT. I'm sure ChatGPT could be a decent business coach for you. But that's not gonna give you the fire, the motivation, the inspiration to actually go after it. Every time I invest in a mentor, I say to myself, I'm not gonna waste this money. I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna show up to those coaching calls. I'm gonna implement what they say. I'm gonna follow the blueprint. I'm gonna follow the guidelines, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm one of the best students in the program. I promise you, if you do this, you'll end up like any one of my students that have been through my program. In fact, let's hear from some of them right now.
I was making maybe $100 a week, and I am now at 11.5K.
I earned 10K in 1 month, which is just completely insane to me.
In July, I hit my first 12K, and In November, I hit 22K.
Each month, I've scaled my business more and more and more, and it's all because of the help of the coaches in the Change Lives Academy.
Guys, I cannot stress enough how this was absolutely hands down the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Hit 10K a month. That's insane. Continuously grinding past that now, which I've been absolutely loving.
Past November, I hit 10.2K, which is the most money that I've ever made in my entire life.
Was able to make 10K per month in June. Never thought I'd be making that kind of money.
I've learned so much, whether it be about sales, about systems, and how to deal with the self-doubt, limiting beliefs, or the doubts. I hit my record month of 12.2K, and I would definitely recommend this to any online fitness coach or any fitness coach that wants to move into the online space, as these guys know fucking so much that it's so hard to really keep up with everything that they say.
Now, if you're interested in taking your online fitness coaching business to the next level, tap the button below to book in for a call with me and my team. We'll talk about your number one struggle, your number one goal, and we will give you a specific game plan to help you achieve your goals. Whether or not you take action on the call, you're going to leave with some valuable information. And last thing I just want to say about my coaching program is it comes with a guarantee. If I can't help you generate $10,000 extra in revenue in your business in the next 6 months, I send you back every single dollar that you paid. So know that my program comes backed with a guarantee, and that's important for you because I don't want to take your money. I want to change your life. Tap the button below to book in for a call with me and my team, and we'll chat with you soon.